In 1933, a group of Wall Street businessmen, including DuPont, tried to overthrow the US government. I don't know what you're saying. DuPont? The guys that put the plastic in my balls? Yeah, those guys. Now, this was called the Wall Street Push, or the business plot, and the whole plan was to get a whole bunch of disgruntled World War I veterans who hadn't been paid what they felt they should to try to overthrow the government and install Smedley D. Butler, a two-time Medal of Honor recipient, as a military dictator. Now, all of this was because they didn't like the higher taxes and other policies that Roosevelt had put in place to try to combat the Great Depression. Rich guys didn't like being taxed. Now, Smedley D. Butler was probably the worst choice that they could have had for this, because as soon as he heard that these guys were wanting to overthrow the government and put him in as the dictator, he said, all right, I'm going to find out everything I can about you guys and then expose all of it. And that's exactly what he did. He learned as much as he could from meeting with these guys and then went straight to the government to expose all of it to the Committee of Un-American Affairs, which was a committee entirely designed to root out fascist and Nazi ideology within the government and within, the citizenship. Now, with all the evidence that Smedley Butler gave the government, they were able to find that, yes, there was a plot to try to overthrow the government, but there wasn't enough evidence to actually convict anybody of it. So nobody was charged with this. Now, to hammer home the point of how bad of a choice Smedley Butler was to installing as a military dictator, here's an excerpt from what he said about this plot.
My main interest in all this is to preserve our democratic institution. I want to retain the right to vote, the right to speak freely, and the right to write. If we maintain these basic principles, our democracy is safe. No dictatorship can exist with suffrage, freedom of speech and press.
Now, later in 1933, Smedley Butler would actually go on a speaking circuit with a speech entitled "War is a Racket," where he explicitly lays out how these companies like DuPont profit off of the deaths of men like him and the men that he led. And he would actually later publish that as a book. It's a fantastic book. Go read it.